Yo, 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 what's going on? We are live once again from the streets of New York City, uptown Manhattan, Washington Heights, and the boogie down Bronx is your man Jose, aka the Dominican Dream, alongside the one and only.
The Maniac.
And we are ready to talk boxing. Big weekend. The return of one of the faces of boxing, if not the face of at least American boxing, absolutely hands down. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. Good scrap, solid scrap. Of course, maybe not the fight most boxing fans or Gervonta Davis fans want to see because we know that there are many fish in the sea for Gervonta Tank Davis. But nonetheless, he's fighting a top 10, top 5 guy, solid fighter. And on that undercard, the return of the monster, not the Mexican monster, because he don't like being called that no more since he's half Ecuadorian, I guess. So the monster, David Benavidez, the man that Canelo Alvarez has been running from for years, is making his return now at 175 pounds, which
His debut.
his debut at 175 pounds against Alexander Gvodzyk, another Ukrainian. So, let's see. Anyway, exciting weekend. And let's not forget about your man, Puerto Rican rising star, the Terminator, Subriel Matias from Fajardo, I believe he is, right? Fajardo, Puerto Rico, fighting live in Puerto Rico on the zone against the Australian Liam Paro. So, listen, this is a great weekend of boxing. Good matchups. Maybe not great, but still very good, solid, entertaining, and if not evenly matched, good matchups. It's not a kill. This ain't a 3,001 kind of thing. And if they are, the odds might be a little too wide because these are actually solid fights in which the underdogs do have chances of winning. Break down the fight that you want to break down first. Let's give the people what they want, man.
Listen,
Gervonta Tank Davis.
everybody's tuning in the tank. You mentioned it, man. You said it. Arguably, hands down, the face of North America is Gervonta Tank Davis because of what he brings when he's in that ring, man. And that's that dynamite. Anytime he lands a punch is an explosion, man. It's at any given moment it can happen. He's a dangerous fighter, and he's going against Frank the Ghost Martin. And when you look at this fight, you said it, solid matchup, good matchup, because we know Frank Martin is a dog, right? He know he's not coming in there to lay down. He's not coming in there to say, "Oh, I'm fighting Tank. Yeah, let him knock me out." No, he's gonna go in there and say, "I could beat this dude," which I think he does possess some tools to. I wouldn't say win. I mean, to make it a fight, I just think the experience. He's not experienced enough. Those lights might be too bright. And Gervonta is just a special fighter, period. And they say there's levels, right? And I like to use one of 1,000 analogies I use is the two belt analogy. Gervonta Tank Davis has many tools on his tool belt. Frank Martin, on the other hand, doesn't have too many. So when you look at this fight, you have to say to yourself, what is it that Frank Martin needs to do to win this fight? Well, to me, it's simple. He needs to be a bully in this fight. He needs to not respect Tank because if Frank Martin thinks he's going to stand in the middle of the ring and outbox Tank for 12 rounds, that's madness. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So he needs to mix up his arsenal, Dream. What he needs to do, go in there, rough him up, make it ugly. Little elbows, not dirty elbows, just rub it on his face. Let him know, listen, it ain't gonna be an easy night. And then use his length, use the jab. He a southpaw, right? Boom, because he won't be able to fight like that for 12 rounds because that's not what Frank Martin is. He's not a bully. He doesn't play. He doesn't like to fight as a bully. But I think he's a good boxer. He's solid. But Tank is just faster. He punches harder, and he's smarter, and he's more skilled. And when you add all that, that's gonna lead to a victory to Tank, man. He needs to absolutely lay an egg Saturday in order for him to lose this fight. We get the Tank that we used to. He outboxes Frank Martin for 12 rounds with perhaps a knockdown.
So you like Gervonta via what?
I'm gonna go decision, man. I think Frank Martin makes it to the finish line, but I can see him being dropped maybe once, maybe twice, definitely one time.
All right, man. Solid prediction as always. Breaking things down. I'm gonna go a little further, man. I might get a little more uh, detailed in my assessment. All right, we got Frank Martin, which I've seen Frank fight, a couple of times. Frank is like you mentioned. That's the perfect term to use for him, and he's a dog. He's definitely a dog. He's a scrappy dude, but he started boxing late in his life. Gervonta Tank Davis, apart from being a talented fighter and having he has something else, and that is experience. He's been fighting since he was 6, 7 years old. He's not new to the game, so his pedigree is much more concrete, much more solid. And we know that one of the most important things in boxing is experience, especially when you put that together with with prime talent, with superstar talent. And Gervonta Tank Davis, love him or hate him, he has that. He has the fast twitch muscles. He has the ring IQ. He's able to move in the ring. He's able to think, right? He has power. He has speed. He can take a punch. We saw it against Isaac Cruz and other guys. So he can be a dog, and he can box on the back foot when he needs to. So you mentioned the tool belt. He has a lot of tools. He is really a complete fighter. The only knock on him is his resume. His resume and his he hasn't fought none of the other top guys. The only other top guy that he fought has been Ryan Garcia, and that fight really has an asterisk next to it because of the how he made him come down to 136 pounds. We know that now Ryan is fighting at 140 something, which is basically welterweight.
It
So
is.
you know, uh, but despite that, the only difference with Tank and a lot of other of fighters who have had cherry pick careers is that we can really actually see the talent, the eye test. We can see it. So um, it it's one of those things, man. It's almost like a paradox, man. It's like yeah, but no, but no, but yeah. Like how do we know he's that good? We just do because we've been watching boxing long enough and we see what he's able to do. Maybe we're not the best fighters, but we're top fighters because in retrospect, Pitbull Cruz wasn't supposed to be that tough of a fight for him, or at least on paper. But now we do know how good Pitbull Cruz is. We do know that Pitbull Cruz is an animal and he's a force to be reckoned with no matter who he fights. So we look at that. It was a close fight. Yes, a good solid fight. He showed what I just mentioned. He showed chin. He showed determination. He showed um, boxing on a back foot against a guy who he couldn't hurt. Because sometimes it's all right when you can't hurt him. What you gonna do? He showed that he could do more than just hurt you. He can outbox you, right? But that being said, I think that Frank Martin could possibly I wouldn't pick him to win. I wouldn't say that. I'm not saying that he can't win, but I'm saying it's very unlikely. But I think that one thing that he will do is he'll make his presence known, and I think that he'll put on a formidable performance. A formidable performance. But one thing that he must do is stay active. Stay active. Don't let Gervonta make you fight at his pace. Gervonta kind of likes a slow pace, right? And he likes you to come at him. So if I'm Frank Martin, I'm the lesser talented fighter, right? I don't have that speed, I don't have that power, I don't have that experience, but I got that dog. So I'm gonna give you some of that dog. How do you do that? Take a page out of Timothy Bradley's book. I mentioned this to you before. To me, Frank Martin is like a poor man's Timothy Bradley. He's scrappy, he got heart, he got dog, but he's not as talented as Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley came into every fight with 4 game plans, A, B, C, and D, and that's what Frank Martin got to do. Frank Martin can't just try to outbox him from the outside. He can't just try to rough him up from the inside. He has to fight all 3 distances. All 3 distances. Personally, I prefer him to fight mid and close range. I don't like him too much on the outside, even though he may have the longer reach and may be a little taller, because I think that Gervonta is a bit of an ambush fighter, so he likes that space. He likes to create a little bit of space for himself to be able to launch his explosive attack, right? So I think mid and close range, one come out 1 round and box, come out another round and scrap. Confuse him. And if you're able to rough him up, and I don't agree with the elbow, but it's one thing that you have mentioned many times in the past, and that is make it ugly. Make it ugly. How do you make it ugly? Punch, punch. Do an Andre Ward on him, man. Punch, clinch, but not Hawkins. 1-2 clinch. 1-2 clinch. 1-2 clinch. 1-2 clinch. Go to the body. You know what I mean? When you get down on his chest, get down on his chest. Throw that overhand. Throw him overhand right. Because Frank throws a lot of overhand punches. He's not a perfect straight punch kind of guy. He's more of like a loopy punch. So try to throw that overhand right when you in his chest. Throw an uppercut. That's what I think he should do. Mix his game plan up, and he has to be active. He can't be stagnant. If you give a thinker and a fast puncher and a fast twitch guy like Gervonta Davis time to think, he gonna do what he wants to you. He's gonna make you run into something. So don't do that, man. Just stay active. Use the most important punch in boxing, the jab. Use the jab. Use the jab. Put that southpaw jab in his face. Go to the body on him. You know what I mean? Once you get close, tie up. Push him back off. Keep throwing that jab. I think him staying busy, hopefully he's in good shape because Gervonta is always in good shape. If he does that, he'll have a chance, perhaps not to win, but to put on a performance that people will say, like, yo, that was a good fight, man. We want to see Martin come back. So, I got Gervonta Davis, who is a good fighter, but has been out of the ring a minute. I got Gervonta Davis. I'm still going to pick him by late stoppage, eighth. I think from the eighth, ninth round on, they'll have a chance to stop Frank Martin. But I can also see the fight going a decision. So I see a late stoppage or a decision for Gervonta Davis with Frank Martin making his presence known and putting on, giving them a tougher fight than at least the casual fans expect.
Okay, man. I mean, that was wonderful, man. That was Johnny. Salute, brother. That was a great breakdown, man. And like you said, that's what I mean, man. When like you said, you gotta mix it up. You gotta mix it up. You can't just have rice on the plate. You just can't have rice on the plate. You gotta have chicken, avocado, throw some beans, and that's what it is. You mentioned
Gio,
rough it
you
up,
already. I'm gonna put the link out there if y'all want one of y'all want to hop on. I'm gonna put the link up in a minute.
rough them up, and then box them, man. And that's it, man. That's pretty much it. But Tank, after this fight, he definitely needs to fight a top tier fighter because he hasn't fought a top tier fighter yet in boxing. He hasn't fought that fighter that we said, ooh, okay, this is that fight. So he needs to step his game up after this. And he needs to fight again, man. That's the problem. He's not active enough. It's been over a year since Tank's fought. So We'll see, man. We'll see Saturday. It should be a
Yep.
good spot.
My man Joel, your official realtor, makes a comment
What
that
up?
is gonna
What
make
up?
that is gonna make the segue. That's gonna segue us into the next fight, the co-main event. Something that you got. I don't care if this guy's fighting a that. I don't care if yo Sean. I don't care if you see that garbage can over there or that parking thing. I don't care if he just hitting that. I'll watch Benavidez because he's a guy. He's gonna bring you excitement. So definitely, I'm eager to see Tank and really eager to see Frank Martin. What Frank Martin does in that fight. But of course, I'm more excited to see what Benavidez brings to 175 pounds because he's one guy. He comes to do the same thing every time, and that's knock your ass out. He comes to destroy. He comes to take you out. He comes to win. No nonsense. Focused fighter. Just a fabulous fighter. As far he's the guy that you're not gonna complain about. Oh man, I just I want to see him do a little more. I want him. That fight wasn't worth my money. No, 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 no. He's the kind of guy that we have to applaud and celebrate as boxing fans because he gives you entertainment value. And at the end of the day, that's what we want, entertainment. So here, your official realtor says he's picking Gvozdyk for the upset against Benavidez. I'm gonna go ahead and break that fight down first. I think that David Benavidez at 175 pounds might not look like the force to be reckoned with, or like the that like that unstoppable freight train that he did at 168 pounds because he's going to be fighting bigger, stronger guys. And we know what happens every time you do that. When you go and fight guys your size, all of a sudden you don't look like that monster anymore. I expect him to maybe have some problems with the strength and the size of the Ukrainian. I think the Ukrainian is probably gonna come and show his heart, his mettle. Ukraine right now they ride in a real big wave of wins and confidence. He's gonna come in the ring with that Usyk, Lomachenko, what's the name of the Baranchuk,
Baron check. Baron check.
Baranchuk that beat my man Vaquero
Remember that
Navarrete.
kid?
So he's coming on a big wave. All these guys knew each other. I'm sure they fought in the amateurs together, etc. Is a band of brothers. So I'm sure they're gonna be riding with him, encouraging him, and I'm sure watching those victories that definitely has motivated Gvozdyk and put some fire up under him. Unfortunately for him, he's fighting a guy who really doesn't need much motivation. He's always motivated. He's always gonna come to do damage, and that's David Benavidez. So I expect the fight to go this way. I think that again, I see Benavidez having maybe. I think that when he receives the punches and when he gives the punches, he might not see the usual effect that his punches have, and in return, he might feel the punches more than he did, given that he's moving up to 175 pounds. This is a solid guy. He only has one loss to a guy that's never been beaten, and he's knocked everybody out, and that's Alter Beterbiev, who was supposed to fight Bivol. Great entrance. This is a great fight for him to get his feet wet, but yet still dangerous. Still runs a risk. But I'm still gonna go with David Benavidez mid to late round stoppage. I think he really is a monster, and I think that after the third, fourth round, once he starts heating up, like most pressure fighters, they take a few rounds. I think that we'll start to see the usual, uh, 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 just relentless breakdown of his opponents by David Benavidez. I think that Gvozdyk has a few good punches in the early rounds, but I still don't think he can contend with David Benavidez.
Yeah, man. Listen, I can't disagree with that, right? We know Benavidez making his debut. I think he's gonna be more comfortable at 175. That's a fact. Now, we also got to take into consideration, like you said, this is a division where dudes are bigger. And Gvodzyk, he's a puncher, man. Of his 20 wins, 16 are via stoppage. NyQuil, excuse me. Only one loss. You mentioned Benavidez. Everyone's been stopped by him. And you mentioned it a lot. And I'm not really sold on these European fighters when they have to fight this kind of style against an American fighter, right? And we know Benavidez, he's not going to go in there and be a ballerina and dance and let me fill him out. No. He might fill out him for the first round. He might be less active just to see what Gvodzyk got. But like you said, once that motor is on, once he put it on fifth gear, that's when it gets dangerous because it's like a car going downhill with no brakes. You know how that's gonna end up bad. So that's Benavidez. He's a car with no brakes going down the hill. He has a relentless attack, but it's also a calculated attack, right? It's just not a reckless and just throw punches and you hit me. No. He does just more than that. He knows how to set it up with the jab. He has a very good body attack. And he doesn't have the best footwork, but he can move, right? I think a lot of the times when he gets hit is because he doesn't respect his opponents. Like, man, listen, I don't care, man. He can't hurt me, so I'm going to stay here. But regardless, it is, without a doubt, a tough opponent for Benavidez at his debut at light heavyweight. Because this is a fighter that's not going to lay down at all. And mention right now, the Ukrainians is on fire. You got in a 2-week span, they won 3 world titles, and one of them became undisputed, which was Alexander Usyk, who is now being considered by many the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing, and you can absolutely make that argument. But listen, this is boxing, bro. Any given fight night, it can happen. It can happen. Benavidez can't lose this fight, but I'm not going to pick him to lose, man. I think he's going to go in there. And with this one, I'm going to agree. I think if it's going to be a stoppage, it's going to be via late. And that's going to be Benavidez stopping Gvodzyk. So when it's all said and done, I got the monster, David Benavidez, winning in his debut via stoppage and letting people know, listen, man, no matter what division I'm in, nobody could F with me.
Well, sorry about that, guys. Real Prison Talk with Tommy. Good evening, gentlemen. Shout out to
Yeah.
you. Uh, Thanks for joining. Welcome to the Boxing Roundtable. I don't know if you know him. You know him? Okay, all right. Well, first time on the Boxing Roundtable. We have the link up if anybody wants to get on with us. Look at the comment section. The link is up to get on live video with us and comment and tell us who you like and why this weekend. Subriel Matias versus Liam Paro from Puerto Rico. Talk to me about that fight. Break that fight down. How do you see it?
Listen, man, you got the IBF champion, Subriel Matias. Listen, he is right now in a great position to become the face of Puerto Rican boxing. Right, last weekend we saw Xander Zaya's fight, which many are deeming him the next face. He's still got ways to go, but Subriel has everything that Puerto Ricans want in their fighters: an action, power, puncher. Now, Subriel is not your typical boxer puncher Puerto Rican. He has more of a Mexican style. He has more of a straight line attack. And he throws punches, and he's there to take 3 punches to land 4. But Liam Paro, man, southpaw, they could punch. And one thing about Paro, man, he has decent boxing ability. And I think for him, in order to have a chance against Subriel, he cannot go in there and just try to overwhelm Subriel. He got to box. He got to turn Subriel, pivot a lot, Do not be a stationary target for him. Make him find you. Because Subriel doesn't have the best footwork, right? He doesn't have the best boxing ability. So if you're not there for him to hit you, guess what? Now he's going to start having trouble, and now you have to make him do other things. You're going to have to make him go into his two belt to see if he has those tools available to do so. But I still think that Liam Paro just don't possess the footwork. I think he possesses the skill set, but not the footwork to do that. So I think this is going to be a scrappy fight, man. You know, everybody is picking Subriel by homicide. Um, I'm gonna pick him because I just think it's almost by default. You gotta pick him, but any given fight night, it can happen. Paro's a puncher. He's a live dog. I'm still gonna pick Subriel by mid round stoppage, but don't be surprised if Subriel get dropped in this fight.
But also remember too, man, that a lot of times when these guys fight at home, they got that home pressure with them, and then they always got people asking them for tickets and doing all that other. So they playing promoter, they playing fighter, and sometimes they don't focus too much on the fight like they should, and sometimes they get upset or look ugly. Sometimes the pressure to look good, in front of a lot of people, you might be a little apprehensive. You might try to be over aggressive, try to prove a point, and you make mistakes when you do that. So, not that Subriel doesn't make mistakes anyway, because Subriel is a rare Puerto Rican fighter who's a pure brawler. He's zero boxer. He's a pure brawler. The dude can't box. If you're looking for skill, that's not what you're gonna find in Subriel. What you're gonna find in him is that Terminator type determination. He's just gonna keep coming and keep coming, and he's gonna build up like usual pressure fighters do, and he's gonna come and he's gonna come and try to break you down. You know, uh, pardon me. I know I'm a barber. I'm at work, so I'm about to get it now. Yeah, so you know what? I saw tape on Paro. I thought he was perhaps going to be something a little. I was hearing he was tough. He was solid. I would say that he could become solid at one point, but I don't think he's solid yet. I think he's a fighter with potential. But he's only had one fight out of Australia, and that only one fight that he had was against Montana Love.
And
And
he did
Montana
good.
Love, yeah, but Montana Love, who the fuck is Montana Love, right? He's definitely not an upper echelon fighter, but I think he's gonna give it his all. I think he's gonna have a good 6 rounds, a good 4 to 6 rounds, and after that, we're gonna see the usual pressure and uncommon, almost unnatural power of Subriel Matias take over, because he starts hitting you, tapping you, and all of a sudden those taps begin to take an effect, a weird effect on fighters where they don't even want to come out the corner no more. So, I hope everything. I'm not going to accuse the guy of any kind of. But man, that guy hit so hard that it's almost like, man, why, how, and his opponents, guys that never been stopped, guys that quitting on the stool. What? How many opponents against him quit? Like 8.
At least about that many.
And these are guys that are tough, that some undefeated that have been doing good, like Ergashev. And unfortunately, a fighter even passed away in the ring against him. So this guy's power is serious. You know. Anyway, that being said, I'm gonna go with Subriel Matias by stoppage in the second half of the fight. He's not a guy that's really gonna knock you out early. I see him running into some trouble, losing some rounds, like he always does. But I think that um, Liam Paro is not there yet. I don't think he's there yet, and I hope he doesn't try to be too tough for his own good, because the Australians, they are proving that they are tough fighters. They're tough people.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. And it's just real, about the quitting on the stool, man. You know that his power is different when you're sitting there contemplating, should I go back out there and take more of those punches? And they like, no, I'm good. So yeah, man, his power right now is just not from this earth, man. So Subriel should win this fight, and if he does, hopefully we get a unification match at 140 with any of the champions. I'll be okay with it.
Turkey Alice Sheik. Bro, I know you, Sean. You know, me and Sean known each other for about 12, 13 years. We met at the Hiroki's Gamboa versus Ponce
Ponce,
de Leon fight in Atlantic City. So all you gotta do is go on Gamboa's
box rec.
record or Ponce de Leon on the box rec, and that's the day we met. So from that day to now, you calculate. And since that day, since we've been talking boxing, one of my biggest frustrations, and yours as well, has been the politics of boxing, the corruption of boxing. The I'm on this side, you on that side, fights not happening, people getting robbed, people getting fights that should happen not happening. We've suffered for that for at least the last 25 years of boxing. And
Easy.
one of my dreams has been, yo, I wish there was I wish, yo, if I became a billionaire, I would pick this whole shit up and do it. Or I wish a billionaire would come out of something. It was like a dream. It was like a something that could never happen. And now we got a guy in Turkey Al Sheep who's talking about making that happen. And I see boxing fans protesting and going, "Oh well, oh nah, 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 nah. Everything that we have tried ain't working well. People are frustrated. Boxing, we're boxing heads. Everybody's gonna come and talk to you at work about boxing. Everybody stops me to talk about boxing. And the first thing, a lot of times we hear, I know you hear it. Oh, boxing ain't like it used to be back in the day. You know, this shit, boxing fell off hard, and we can't argue with that. What I'm like, yeah, that's true. And why? Because of the politics. Because we got too many people after their own agenda, after their own pocket. So if that shit ain't working and it's not helping boxing, but then come on, I would absolutely welcome one person to run boxing. That's my opinion. I would love that, and nobody better right now, I think, than the guy who really loves the sport. And it seems like he don't even care about making money. He just loves the sport, and that's Turkey Alice Sheep. He got my vote 100%, and I would love to see him take over this sport anytime.
Yeah, man. That's something we need in the sport, right? He's what people gotta understand is he's not trying to do something for his own gain. He's doing something to propel the sport, to put the sport back at the forefront where boxing used to be, man. Boxing, hands down, was one of the most watched sports in the 80s, the most popular sport, early 90s, man. But then we started to lose that once the 2000s came in the politics. Again, the politics, the politics, the politics. This promoter don't mess with this promoter. No, yeah, he sell more tickets, and then you know what? Fights don't get made. So Turkey Al Sheikh, if he wants to make the sport better, by 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 having them under one umbrella and making a league, like he say, he wants to make a league. So guess what happens now, Dream? Everyone got to fight each other, and they're gonna break it down to 12 weight divisions, not 17. So how would that work if that was to happen? I don't know. Also, remember, these promoters will still be like the owners of their promotional companies. Not like he's buying it from them and just throwing them out. No, but he will be the majority owner. Like he'll be like what's the commissioner from basketball? Stern or the guy from NFL, man. I forgot, man. But you get what I'm saying. We get one governing body, and now finally we can say, you know what? Yeah, Tank gotta fight Shakur now. Because if they both win this next fight, they have to fight each other. And that's all we want as fans. We're not asking for a lot. We're not asking to lower these ticket prices. We're not asking. All we asking is, guys, give us the fights we deserve. And these are the fights these fighters should be having anyway. So, man, listen, I hope it happens.
Real Prison Talk with Tommy says Turkey wants to become the Dana White of boxing. If he does, I'm with it as long as he pays the fighters more than Dana White does, because
He
that's an
will.
atrocity.
He will. He
That,
already listen. You saw Turkey, man. You already see his. He doesn't have no hidden agenda here. He's for the sport. It's
absolutely,
proven. And and
absolutely.
and if he wasn't, you already hear these fighters saying on the side, like, yo, listen, yeah, I think he's for, but he's no, he's for the sport. He got money, bro. The guy's rich. He just wants to see good fights, and that's what we want. What's wrong with that? That's like watching the NFL, Major League, NBA, and the best is not playing each other because of politics. You're like, what? We need the Knicks to play Boston. That'd be a hell of a game. We need the Yankees against the Boston Red Sox. That's a rivalry. No, Yankees, we got more World Series than Boston. We're not going to play them. They got to play against the Orioles first. And then maybe,
It,
come on, man.
it,
Nobody
it,
want to
it,
hear
it's
that. Nobody
it's
want to
really
hear that. We
it's
don't
really
want to
fr-
hear that. We
it's
want
really
the fights.
it's
That's
really
it.
it's really frustrating, and it doesn't really make any sense. I was listening to the guys over at, they're doing a great job, and they're putting out a lot of content, but sometimes it's not good to have only fighters cover boxing all the time, because fighters are fighters and analysts are analysts. You got guys like Paulie Malignaggi and uh, the other dude, the blonde kid, the got his ass whooped by Chris Algieri.
Algeria.
Yeah,
Algeria.
you got them protesting or giving us their complaints about why this would be bad. And Jim Lampley, people have tried it before. This is different, and Turkey's proven that he's different. Turkey's proven that he put his money where his mouth is. His guy don't talk just to talk. You know what I mean? He's not playing around. When he says something, he does it. If everybody else is with it, it's gonna get done. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. So for us to see someone try this and try to rescue the sport, and thank you for shedding light on the details, because honestly, you're the only one that I've heard the details from out of all the videos I watch. About the league and the rules and people still being the head of their promotional companies, etc. You know, they could even try. What Turkey could do is he could even lease them out,
Yeah.
lease
And
them out, and get temporary control for a number of years until he makes all the fights happen, and everybody fight each other. That's what we want to see, and that's why boxing is whack, because Tank hasn't fought Shakur. Shakur hasn't fought Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia hasn't fought Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? That's why boxing is whack. It took how many years to get Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather in the ring, right? It's taken how many years to get Benavidez and Canelo in the ring, etc. And the list goes on and on and on. We can sit here all day about matches that didn't get made or got made too late. You know what I mean? So I'm with it. And anybody that's protesting this is just cynical and outright just stupid, man. Like, come on, man. Like, everything we trying ain't working. So the only guy that's making shit happen is Turkey Al Sheep. Then let him take over the whole thing. I don't mind. Come on, man. Not actually, no. I'm sorry. That's the wrong thing to say. Not that I don't mind. I want him to.
yeah, and it's only gonna benefit the sport, bro. So I don't know where's the frustration and people mad. Isn't that what you want as a fan? Or you got so used to the politics of boxing, it has consumed you to where you like, oh nah, yeah, I don't think so. Now you being politics, you being a fan, and you like, yeah, know what you mean? Cause why? Cause it's one guy. Who cares? We need the fights. We need boxing to be back where it used to be, the golden era, the 80s, the 90s, when boxing was hands down the number one sport. Why? Because we had these stars fighting each other. It
Well,
wasn't all it was always politics, don't get me wrong, but not to this degree, man.
no,
Like,
no, 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 nothing like this. And to your point, and how you spoke about basketball and the NBA, and I'm sorry, how you spoke about the NBA and the MLB and the NHL and so forth. So how can somebody like Paulie, who's a former fighter himself, be opposed to this in any kind of, be opposed to an actual league, with more control on it? Because, oh, I don't know how this is gonna work. What you mean I don't know how this is gonna work? oh, it's not gonna work perfectly because it can never work. What you mean? And the NBA works perfectly, don't it? MLB works perfectly, don't it? Process of elimination. The best fight the best, play the best, and the best at the end is the champion.
Simple.
What the fuck is so different about doing that with boxing?
Yeah.
In fact, it should be even easier because this ain't a team sport. It's one on one. We don't got to worry about the center getting injured or this and that, and all the teams not. Nah, man. So that makes absolutely no sense, and I just find it just discouraging and annoying that people. eh, You're never gonna make people happy, man. It's apparent, and it is what it is. But he got my vote.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. And also, we kind of forgot to mention real quick um three quick fights on the tank card. We got Carlos Adames, who will be defending his WBC title against Terrell Goucher on the pay-per-view portion, and also opening that pay-per-view portion is Gary Antoine Russell, 17-0, 17 night quills against undefeated Dominican fighter. Two Dominican fighters fighting on that card. Alberto Puello. Listen, those are two good scraps, man.
They
Uh,
are, they are.
I like them. We know what Gary Antoine Russell does. You know, Puello. The question becomes, can he keep Gary off him with that power? He's going to have to box. He's going to have to move. He's going to have to make Gary respect him. So that's going to be interesting. And then, Adames, another fighter that really hasn't been active. So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks. He goes against Terrell Goucher, who to me, he's another fighter that was a highly touted prospect that never really panned out to be what what was expected of him. But he's still a tough opponent. He's been in there with tough fighters. So him fighting the Damas, he's not gonna be intimidated. In fact, I can pretty much see him saying, I'm gonna win this fight. I'm gonna be a world champion. So expect that to be a good scrap as well, man. And
And
on
and,
the
and, and people got to remember too that this is Carlos Adames' first defense of his title, a
correct.
title that was actually handed to him.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
listen,
and I'm not gonna say handed to him in the sense that he didn't deserve it, but meaning that he didn't fight for it. So he became a champion like Boots Ennis did, by default.
yeah. Which I don't like that. And I think with Turkey, you know, again, proposing what he's proposing, we won't see that. But anyway, as of now, this is what we got to deal with. That is a very, very solid card, the pay per view. Gary Antoine Russell versus Alberto Puello in the opener. The second fight, Carlos Adames versus Terrell Goucher for Adames WBC. The co main event, we got, David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvodzyk. And then, of course, the main event.
Well. Who you like in those two fights, man? 'Cause those are real interesting fights.
No,
Who,
so the thing is, I gotta go with Gary Antoine in the Puello fight. I just think that Puello's gonna put up a fight. I just think Russell right now, man, he's just one of those fighters at 140 that's on the collision course with Subriel Matias. I think they're very similar in style. They both have knocked out every single one of their opponents. And he doesn't play with his fool, man. Gary Antoine is not your typical African American fighter. They known to be more slick. He's more brawler. He'll go in there and he's not gonna play with that plate, man. If he thinks you a plate, he's gonna go in and do what he gotta do. Yo, Dream, Johnny said to put him in the chat.
no doubt, absolutely, man. My pleasure.
Yo, Johnny.
My brothers, can you hear me?
Clear.
Johnny, the hangout spot. Can you hear us, man? Pleasure to have you on.
Loud and clear, loud and clear. What's good, my brothers?
Ain't much, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thanks for finally coming on, man. You definitely made my night. Check out Johnny at the hangout spot on YouTube. Guy covers sports, man. Eloquent gentleman. And he likes to talk sports, and one of them is boxing. So Listen, big fights coming up this weekend. Talk to us.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on. My brother Dream, my brother Maniac. You already
Yep.
know how we do.
Yeah.
What I really, really wanted to jump in and talk about was this Turkey Al Sheikh stuff, man, because we didn't get a chance to touch on that this week
Yeah.
when we were chatting. And I gotta tell you, man, if Turkey pulls this off, bro, I'll be calling him His Excellency. No doubt about it. I mean, how many years have well, I know I have, and hearing you guys, I know you guys have well, but how many years have we been begging for boxing to have a commission? You know, somebody up top, like a David Stern, like you said, like a Dana White that calls the shots, man. We need that. Boxing needs this, man. We need the best to fight the best. Boxing is on the cusp of potentially being that sport that it was back in the 80s when guys were fighting for legacy, and it just can't get over the hump. And maybe this move puts it over the hump. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with everything you guys were saying. I don't see how any true hardcore boxing fan will disagree. I do think that you're going to get some backlash from some of the fighters, especially the guys that are sticking and moving right now, making big money, working the way they work, right? You know, picking and choosing their fights. I don't know if those guys are going to necessarily want to buy in because they've made a living and a good living sticking and moving the way the landscape is situated now. But
Correct.
the guys that are begging for big fights, the guys that are begging to fight the best, the guys that are begging for big money fights, they're going to be all in. And if you look at the landscape, there's a lot more of those fighters than those big name fighters that are making all that money and moving around like the Canelos and the Tanks, right? So I'm all for it, man. I mean, sign me up. I mean, the first thing that I thought about when I read this was I remember watching an interview with a fighter on UFC after he won, and they were telling him, or they were asking him if he was going to fight the mandatory guy, and he's sitting back and he's telling the crowd or the press, no, I don't want to fight that guy. I'm not fighting that guy next. Then all of a sudden, when Dana White came out after that, Dana White said, nah, he's fighting him. And that's what boxing needs. Feel me? You know, somebody
Yes.
that's going to be in there and is going to mandate, hey, you the mandatory, this is the guy that you're going to fight next. And
Abs-
to your point, Maniac, what you said earlier, I don't think money will be a problem. I don't think
Yeah.
money will be a problem because Turkey is, yeah, I don't see him as that type of guy that's going to squeeze fighters. I think that he's going to continue to pay fighters big money because there's going to be a lot of money made in this thing, man. You know, so I'm all for it,
Listen,
man. I just want to give my 2 cents on that because I'm excited. I hope it goes through, man.
well, you know what, man? Thank you for making a comment about that because that's very, very important, man. And this would truly be like a dream come true for many, many fans, for many people, myself included. I'm probably one of the number one proponents of this, man. So I'm definitely behind it. I'm definitely supporting Turkey Al Sheep. And again, you got people talking about, oh well, then there's only going to be the top guys fighting, and we're not gonna. Well, good. That shit that should incentivize the fighters that are not at the top to get to the top, so then they could be seen. So if you're not at the top, then okay, then oh, you're not gonna be getting fights, you're not gonna be getting opportunities. If you rank number 28, you shouldn't be fighting the number one guy anyway. You got
Correct.
to work your way up to get there. So
Correct.
we tired of watching those fights. We tired of seeing Danny Garcia versus Ross Salka. We tired of watching those fights.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I'm
remember
saying?
that.
So good, bro. If you ain't at the top, then you ain't gonna get no airtime. It's okay. Then that means work hard and be who you gotta beat to get to the top. That's what that means.
Absolutely. And I
That's what
believe
that's what they do. That's what they do in UFC, and that shit is working beautifully.
correct. And it's gonna be to me, it's gonna be formatted, organized. I think that you'll have to just work your way up, right? I just think, or if it was just to start right now, let's say, right? Listen, starting Monday, this league will be in place. So you already know in every division, like I said, they'll break it down to 12 divisions. So that means 5 divisions will get eliminated. Which divisions? What that wasn't mentioned, right? So I'm assuming maybe like cruiserweight, maybe I don't know, maybe straw weight. I don't know. The point is this: all the top fighters in the division right now, the top four, put their ass with each other right away. To me, put in
That's it.
Tank with Shakur, whoever
Agreed.
we need. And you said it, Johnny. This is something we need for the sport. How can you not? And then remember, the first time we did a show together, we spoke about that, right? Where's boxing at? Right?
Right.
The state of boxing. And I said that it's intubated, right? And you this will revive it. This should have get him, this would get boxing out the hospital straight to a vacation. Like he was never in the hospital if Turkey could put his on. Because now boxing will be in the place it needs to be. It's not where it needs to be. And how can people complain about that? So this is what you want. So you can argue on Facebook. So you can argue on Instagram. Well, here's some more tickets to him. Bro, he's still a good fighter. Just because he doesn't sell out doesn't mean he ain't good. Johnny, you know, you watch a lot of football. There might be a 11-0 team who just they grind and pound you. They win 17-10ish. They not pretty. They don't throw the ball all over the field. Against an 11-0 team, there's a pretty team that throws it all over. So you telling me that an 11-0 team can't compete with this team? No, you play. And boxing is like that. Oh, you don't bring enough to the table. I'm tired of hearing that shit. You don't bring enough to the table. So what you're saying is you're too dangerous. You're a high risk, low reward for me. In
Correct.
this league, we won't have that. You're gonna fight, you're gonna get paid, and shut up. That's it.
I agree. It shouldn't be that way, and it is. You know, my only question though, if they do put this thing together, will they get rid of all these damn Mickey Mouse belts, man, and just kind of stick to like the 3 or 4 major belts the way it was back in the days? I mean, golly,
Well,
man.
well, well, well. Right now, we really only have, which, and that's too much. Having four major belts, it's too much. Maybe they can put it down to three, maybe
3,
even two, maybe
yeah,
even two with time.
I think two. I think at most to me, I think two belts would be good because now you got to get these people to really earn. Like you're gonna now when you say I'm a champion, it's because you earned that shit, right?
correct.
And
Correct.
Dream just mentioned it with the Adames situation and the boots. How these fighters, they call them now email champions. They emailed you, listen, we don't want that. And I think these fighters don't want that neither. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to turn it down neither. You're not going to say, no, I want to earn it. Yo, you're going to give it to me, fine. But deep inside, you got to say, man, nah, man, I didn't earn this. But it is what it is. With this, we won't see that. You become a champion because you earned that. And you could really brag. Now you say I'm a 4 division world champion in a league like this, a format, bro, it's because you was that dude for real. So we'll see what comes out of this, man. I'm not getting my hopes too high because the problem is these promoters.
Right.
How much they gonna want to give? How much control do they really want to give Turkey Al Sheikh again? They'll still. He's not buying them out. He's not saying Oscar, get out of here. Tank. These guys will still be promoting their companies, but he'll be the main guy. Like this is my league. Y'all under me. You
I think
understand? So
you're right. I think that's going to be an ego thing that's going to hurt this whole thing, especially when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya. I don't see him going easy. I don't see him wanting to play nice in the sandbox. And in order for this to happen, you got to be willing to play ball. And, the Bob Arams of the world that have been around forever, those are going to be
Well,
hard sells. You know what I mean?
I disagree there, Johnny. I think Oscar's one of the guys to get along with the easiest. He's the
Really?
only guy. He's the only guy out of all the promoters who was a boxer himself, but not only any boxer, one of the most successful boxers of all time. And he's on top of that, he's one of the only fighters. Well, not one of the only fighters, but he's definitely one of those fighters who fought absolutely everybody. So he's all about the best fighting the best. So I don't see him protesting this at all. Now what I see him protesting is him being stripped of what he built,
Well,
right?
that's part of
You
it.
know?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
part.
but as far as playing nice with Turkey, if Turkey's only gonna benefit the sport and benefit him, and nothing's gonna change, I don't see him being opposed to that at all. But of course, he's not gonna want somebody to come in and take his company because, bro, he built that shit from the ground up. He built it literally with his fist.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he's gonna. Well, we'll see, right? I'm not saying it all. I guess it all depends how Turkey is offering this, right? How he's again because I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be money.
They're
Turkey.
all money talks too.
Yeah, I don't think Turkey wants that control. I don't think he wants to be the man. He's like, look, I just want to put the plan in place so the fights that we need to happen. I'm gonna just sit back. You guys continue to do what y'all do, but now y'all gotta fight each other. It's not gonna be no, again, oh, you were top rank, you were Al Heyman, you were no, because that shit is to me was the dumbest thing. Just imagine that, Johnny. Oh, the Yankees. Well, we don't play you because the AL Central doesn't do business with the AL East. What? Like that just don't make sense. But only in boxing it does because it's been like that for so long. The fans, they okay with it. No, I'm not okay with it. I'm tired of that shit. Tired. It needs
Yeah,
to end.
I feel you. One of the reasons why I said that too was, and I'm trying to find it. There was an article that was put out. I don't know how long ago about Oscar De La Hoya being critical about Turkey Al Sheikh, and I don't know it was because of
I
that.
saw that. I saw that as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
it
fight
may.
that they were doing in here, the first one that they were doing in LA, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been what triggered it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, is he going to be
But
receptive?
he's been over there in Saudi Arabia. I think he's been invited and he's been with Turkey and them. You know when
Oh,
they did that picture with all the great fighters that are alive. Oscar De La Hoya,
Yeah, I mean, at
he's been
first,
there. Yeah,
I remember at first he didn't like it. Remember he made that comment,
the
ain't
comment. But
nobody.
I'm talking about he's been there invited by Turkey. He's
Oh
been
yeah,
over
yeah,
there.
yeah. No, no. I mean, listen. I don't listen. To me, again, when we looking at it, right? Why would he? Turkey has showed nothing but respect. He's not
Yeah,
disrespecting nobody.
Oscar work with him. He'll work with him.
Turkey hasn't
oh,
disrespected nobody. He's not here to say I'm running boxing. He's here to say I want to make the sport better. That's all he wants to do. And he has the money. He has the resources to do so. So let him do it.
So
Why
I'm hearing the price for all these promotional companies would be $5 billion.
5 billion? You
wow.
know that all you money, that's lunch money. They go Turkey Al Sheikh throw his garbage out with that in his pocket, man. Listen, these
That's insane.
guys, they trillionaires. They trillionaires. No billionaires, they trillionaires. So look, the money's not the issue. This is why he continues to do what he does because he understands. Look, they allowing me over here in Saudi. I'm in charge of entertainment, right? So I can do this. I got a budget, and he's the feedback he's getting is more positive than negative right now. So, and what he's trying to do now, I think more people on board than not. So we're gonna see, man. Again, I'm not gonna get my high hope, Johnny, and dream because I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then it's like, well, Bob Arum says no, or this, and it's like, here we go. And then it's just back to square one. And and these same promoters. Oh, I remember Bob Arum mentioned in the interview. Oh, it's no politics, and if the fights want to happen, it happens. Oh, really, Bob? Really? So
Well, we
why
know
why
Bob
the
is a
fights are not
old.
happening? So
Oh,
again,
oh,
a lot of these promoters, they talk caca. They
oh.
talk shit. They liars. A lot of them are liars. You know, they salesmen. They salesmen. So, you know, they got to sell the product. And, you know, no promoter's going to admit, you know what? I was wrong. You know what? I blocked that fight. No, that fight didn't happen because, you know, his manager, they outpriced themselves. This is why now when it comes to two fighters, it's always two different stories, right? You have, I'm going to give you an example. Devin
But
Haney and Shakur. Oh, but Shakur offered him a contract. As per Bob Arum, that's not what really happened. So who do we believe, Johnny? Right? Same thing with Tio and Haney. Oh, Tio outpriced himself. As per who? As per Bill Haney? I didn't hear that from Haney's promoter or Bob Arum that says, yeah, we did. We if we don't get 20 mil, we don't want the fight. And now we can say, oh shit, yeah, you definitely outpricing yourself because you ain't getting no 20 mil to fight no Haney. And again, this is boxing. Nobody's gonna be that guy to say, look, I lied. No, everybody's saying the truth.
Right. Well, listen, we'll see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, though, I think we could all agree that at least Turkey is trying to move the needle here. And you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
when he ain't trying, man, he doing it because again, what he says, he does.
Exactly.
So far, he's a man of his word.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, look, let's go to his first call he's about to do in the America. So that's gonna, you see, and this is how much I'm telling you again that Turkey, he's not trying to be in the forefront. He's not trying to be, he don't really care. It's being promoted by Matchroom, the August 3rd card. And mind you, you got top ranked fighter in there. I think you got a Golden Boy fighter in there. I mean,
you got a PBC fighter too because you got a Pitbull Cruz in Venezuela.
So, correct. So you got all these. You got fighters, promoters. All promoters is gonna have a hand in this, but the lead promoter is Matchroom.
So that's an example right there of what he could do.
Correct. This is what I'm saying, and he's not. Again, it's not saying Turkey Al Sheikh promotion. Nah, he don't care. Here, this is what I want. Fight. I got the money here. Put. You know what? Let's put this fight, bro. Look at that card. It's like 7 fights, and out of the 7, at least 5 are main event worthy fights.
And what's crazy is he's putting on such a big card, and it's not even in his country. Remember how he's starting out. I don't know his background. I know he's not a member of Saudi Arabia is a kingdom, so you have the king, and you have the prince, and I don't know who else is there. But he's in charge of the entertainment, right? Yeah. So he's like probably, not a court jester, but something higher than that, in charge of getting court jesters. So I'm sure he's subsidized by the Saudi Arabian government. So I really don't know how much money he has himself or how that works. But the fact that they're doing this card in America, it's lets you know, man, this guy's he's enjoying what he's doing and he's branching out and he's really for the sport, not only for his country, like every man should be for their country, but he's also for the sport.
And for the fans, because the fans were calling for him.
Yeah, because
in America, and he delivered.
Well, that's the thing, that he is a fan. So he's a fan.
So that you're right. That makes a big difference.
That's the bottom line right there. By him being a fan, he wants what we want. He wants what we want, guys. He's not asking for nothing out of this world. He's just asking for the best to fight the best. I want to put the best fights possible. And how can anyone argue that? Why? Because it's not your promoter doing it. Come on, a lot of people, look, unfortunately, a lot of people are ignorant. That's just the truth, right? They see stuff and, hey, I don't like that. Him.
Well, a lot of these people are getting paid by certain people too, man. At the end of the day, Paulie, he getting a check over there from Pro Box. Maybe he's scared something happened to Pro Box because he was talking mad shit about Heyman, and then he signed to him. So money talks.
Oh, we know that because if he gets the call to call one of these fights, guess what he's doing? He's gonna go.
Not only that, if Turkey says, I want to buy Pro Box TV, and he gonna buy that, a couple $1 million or whatever over what it's worth. Most likely they gonna sell it. So
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, man. So
you know,
look, man, we know that Turkey has been making the sport trend in a positive direction. No one
Mhm,
could debate that, no argument.
mhm.
He's it just seems every day he's looking to do something better. And it's like, yo, like even me, I be like, damn, Turkey, yo, like you keep amazing me, bro. Like I'm already giving you your props. Like you don't have to do nothing more, just doing it. Now you want to do a league so that everybody, the best, could fight the best, bro. You you about to be the savior of boxing. But
literally.
is it because he's from the Saudi, he's from the Middle East, that people feel a certain way? Because I remember vividly fans, he ain't getting Canelo, he ain't getting Crawford, he ain't getting Tank. And look, who's main eventing this American card, Johnny?
Absolutely. And
Crawford.
if you look at social media, Crawford is throwing out tweets and stuff like Turkey, come see me at
Come
training.
see me.
Like, they developing a tight relationship there, man. And that's the best fighter arguably in the world pound for pound.
Well, again,
Absolutely.
again, everybody want a tight relationship with somebody giving them that kind of money, giving out
Absolutely.
that kind of money. Everybody
Yeah,
gonna want a relationship with him. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
I'm
So
telling you,
that's what it is.
And
the only ones that are not going to buy it are the Canelos of the world because they're not going to want to be told or mandated who to fight. They want to
Well, well, well.
fight for $30
Again,
million.
money
And
talks, cause money talks, man.
it's
He
coming,
keep
Johnny. It's coming.
he keeps talking about making Canelo in a fight that I don't want to see. He's talking about making Canelo and Crawford. Now he's gonna make it happen. And if he can't make that happen, then he'll probably make Benavidez Canelo. He'll give
Listen,
Canelo, 100 million or however much money Canelo wants
look, this is
to get
what
his
I would
ass whooped by Benavidez.
if you're gonna get Canelo that much money, then it's gonna be because you're gonna fight the guy, not me that I want to see, but what the world wants to see, right? Because um I get the business part of it. I mean, he's still ducking Benavidez, there's no doubt. But he's saying, listen, if they tell me, yo, all right, you want 200, bro, I could give you 105. Canelo ain't turning down no 105 million, bro. Nobody, nobody's turning down that. You don't care who
E-
you
Even
fight.
even if even if it okay, so even if that was to fight Terence Crawford, he would take it. Even though he said he does not interested because it's a no win, which he's right.
It's true, but he's gonna take it because, bro,
Yeah, of course he's gonna. I agree.
you can't turn down that much money. You just can't, right? It's prize fighting, right? That's the purpose of fighting, to get paid.
And that's why
Canelo's
people ask why Mike Tyson is fighting. He probably didn't even want it. They probably threw a number at him. He was like, "Yo, I get off my couch for that."
absolutely. And this is I was never intrigued by that matchup with Jake Paul. What is Mike Tyson? That's like everybody's idol. So it's like, look, if Mike is gonna get the bag, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna be okay with Mike getting. I'm not okay with the fight. I'm okay with
Yeah,
Mike getting the bag because Mike deserves it. Because Mike is a legend. He's a true gentleman. And listen, man, he's the people's champion. Because Mike
absolutely,
is loved by the people, man.
very
He don't need
absolutely.
no. He don't need no security to go
Nope,
where he's at.
nope.
People are gonna go there. Yeah, they're gonna hound him, but once he get on his mic mode, like, listen, chill out. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, all right.
That's it.
You
That's
got it,
it.
Mike.
no,
You got it.
absolutely. I agree, man. I agree.
That's it.
Yeah, man. But look, man, we got a great weekend, man. We got a great Saturday of fights, man. I
Mm-mm.
expect I expect fireworks on both cards. The PBC card, man. Wow, just from top to bottom.
Real quick.
Second
Speaking
one in a
about
row.
PB,
Second
speaking
in a
of
row, Johnny. You right?
yeah, speaking about PBC, real quick. Comments. My predictions on Alberto Puello,
Yeah.
Alberto La Vispa Puello versus Gary Antoine Russell. You know, I think they're both. Well, I'm not gonna say overrated because I'm not saying people are rating them highly, either of them. I'm not big on either of them because I think one, like you said, is a guy that can't box, and Gary Russell. He doesn't even seem like he's part of the Russell family with that style. But it's an entertaining style, no doubt. But he's definitely not a guy who has tremendous technique.
No,
Puello does, but Puello doesn't have power.
true.
So it's an interesting contrast, and I think it'll make for an interesting fight because it's a fight that Puello can win, or Puello could make Gary Anton look ugly. 30, man. So, um, I got shit, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one there, man. You know, I don't know, man. I think I would lean slightly towards Gary to win a decision, but you know what? I'm gonna go with Puello in that fight. Puello by decision.
All right,
I'm gonna
listen.
go with Puello by decision.
All
That
right.
that'd be that'd be crazy, man. That I could see it. Listen, those fights, like you said, it's not a total mismatch. Because yes, Gary, like I said, he give you that night quilt, that extra strength. But if somebody is gonna be in there boxing, not intimidated, and they're gonna be moving and showing him angles, it could fluster him and make him make mistakes, man. But I said on the show we did, I'm still going with Gary, man. I don't know if Puello got that dog in him because Gary's gonna make him. If he has dog, he's gonna make him bring him out. And if Boyer don't got it, then he's gonna be in trouble, man. Because if he can't keep Gary off him, he's gonna be in trouble. But we're gonna see, man. That's interesting, man. I definitely want to see my man Elijah Garcia, man. We spoke about that. That's my guy right there, man. I think he's definitely gonna be a world champion as long as nothing happens to him. He doesn't sustain no major injuries. But Elijah Garcia is a fighter that, um, but besides him as a fighter, as a person, I love his personality. He's a family man, and he's a church guy. So I love what he is outside the ring, Elijah Garcia, and I expect him, man, to be. Karan Davis is no joke, man. He's not gonna. He's no slouch.
Well,
So
didn't Karan Davis fight
Benavidez.
David? Yeah, he fought David
Late,
Benavidez.
late
Yeah,
place, late place, late replacement.
yeah, and they also sparred together as well, if I'm not mistaken. They knew each other from sparring. Now Carlos Adames versus El Caballo Bronco Adames versus Terrell Gaucher. I think it's another solid fight. Another solid fight. And I'm gonna favor Adames. He's been probably more active and has been more relevant lately. But it's another fight. These are fights that this weekend we have favorites and clear favorites, but not this ain't no walk in the park for none of them. These are
All right.
pretty evenly matched fights. Not totally even, but all the underdogs are very live underdogs.
These are fights where if the person that you're not picking to win wins, you won't be surprised.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But these solid. Shout out to PBC, man. I mean, this, like I said, this is the second solid one in a row.
And I think this is the beginning of the end for PBC. And I think that um if Turkey does this, I think one of the first people on board is gonna be PBC because they need it. I
Yeah.
think they're gonna be one of the first people on board because I
Yeah.
think it's over for them. The
Yeah.
well has run dry over there.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I see. The real prison talk with Tommy. That card August 3rd has to be the best card of my life without a question. Listen, man, I don't think many gonna disagree with you, Tommy. That is a phenomenal card from top to bottom. You got a lot of stars there, man. A lot of great fights. So it's hands down one of
It's
the best cards I've ever seen too. So I
absolutely.
really can't disagree with that, man. And mind you, that's just the beginning. That's what Turkey wants to do on the regular. We seen, look, Day of Reckoning. We saw the one with Joshua and Gano. I forgot what was that called. Um what it was called.
Chaos or something like that. Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. That was a real good card, right? Good solid card as well. And then we just had the one 2 weeks ago with Fury
Queensberry.
the Queensberry, the 5-on-5. Like, come
Versus
on, man.
Matchroom.
Listen, like I said, and me and Dream, we've been critical of boxing, mainly more him. I've been the defender, but then it came to the point where I couldn't defend the sport no more because the proof is in my face. I can't, I like to use the crackhead reference, right? If my aunt is a crackhead and your aunt is a crackhead, I can't be like, yo, your aunt is a crackhead. But when it comes to my aunt, I'm like, no, 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 no. She a crackhead, but nigga, ain't no but. She a crackhead. That's it. Accept it. You gotta accept it. It's no, oh, but she cooked good. It don't. She's still a crackhead. It don't matter. So the bottom line is this, man. Boxing is trending in the right direction. I think we could agree with that. I don't think it's out the cemetery yet. I think it's coming out the grave. It's out the grave, but it's still in the cemetery and it's looking for its way out.
You know what, man? I gotta say, thank God, number one, and number two, thank Turkey Ali Sheik for what he's doing. Because this is something that I've dreamed of, and I wanted someone with the proper capital to be interested in the sport properly, with passion and with their heart. And this guy is really demonstrating that. He don't gotta fly Roberto Duran, Mike Tyson, and Oscar De La Hoya, and Riddick Bowe, and Holyfield. He don't gotta fly him out over there every time. Every time they fight, flies everybody out. All the legends, bro. That shit ain't cheap. I mean, who knows? He probably puts them all on one plane that he owns or something like that. But literally, all the legends of it. It's just unbelievable, man. What this guy is doing, and to me, it's a dream come true. Anyway, man, closing thoughts. We usually don't make the videos this long, but we had a lot to talk about. Gervonta Tank Davis. Who you like, Johnny, this weekend, and why, man? Break it down real quick. Who you got in the Tank Davis fight? Who you got in the Benavidez fight? And who you got in the Liam Paro versus Puerto Rican dude, Subriel Matias?
Like I told the Maniac earlier this week, I'm a little afraid of the Tank Martin fight because I'm afraid that by the 6th round I'll be falling asleep. I don't want to fall asleep. I want to see a banger, but again, the styles. You got two counter punchers. Yeah. I think Tank is gonna take his time, try to download data. I think Martin's gonna try to do the same. He's not gonna want to get set up into one of Tank's traps and big punches. So I kind of see a chess match in the beginning of that fight. Yeah. I'm hoping that it picks up. Either way, I'm going with Tank. It isn't because I don't respect Martin's skills. I do. I just think that there's levels to this, and Tank is right now on another level. And so I like Tank. I like Tank in this fight. I think he will finally set him up for a trap later in the fight, and I think he stops him. Somewhere along the 9th round. That's what I'm picking. But again, I could be wrong. At the end of the day, I just want to see a good competitive fight, and I don't want to be falling asleep in the 6th round. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. So how about I don't know if you know too much about Gvodzyk, but
Yep. Benavidez and Gvodzyk. I like that fight. I think that one will probably have the tendency to steal the show. I think this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting because Benavidez is moving up to light heavyweight, but every time we see a guy move up in weight for the first time, we always feel like physically the other guy is going to come in much more bigger, and 9 out of 10 times he does. I have a funny feeling that David Benavidez is going to fill out well at light heavyweight, and he'll look like the natural light heavyweight on fight night. Again, I could be wrong. It's just a feeling that I have. I can't predict he'll knock out Gvodzyk. Gvodzyk is a tough guy. He can box, he can punch, and he's the natural light heavyweight, but he's also been very inactive the last couple of years. Yeah, I think Benavidez might not be the stronger guy, but he'll definitely be the faster guy and the more busier guy, and I think Benavidez beats him because of that. I don't know if he stops him though. I think Benavidez will win that fight by decision. That's
a good prediction.
Yeah.
That's a solid prediction.
And then you had what was the other one?
Subriel Matias versus Liam Paro.
that's an interesting fight for me. It really is because we all know that there's always pressure for a guy to fight in front of his home crowd, especially if you're Hispanic fighting in front of an Hispanic home crowd. We know how it's going to be buzzing, the pride factor. I mean, there's a lot there, but the Maniac brought something to my attention the other day that I thought made a lot of sense. Right now, a lot of people are talking about a lot of other Puerto Ricans as being those guys, the Belangas, the Xander Zayas. Why nobody's talking about Matias? So you know he's got to be thinking about that. And
You
I
know
think
what,
he's
man?
trying to make a
That's a
statement.
that's a real interesting question, man.
I don't get
Um,
it. I mean,
and I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not a real attractive guy. I don't know what it is, right? Because you could sell more the image of Santa Sayas and Belanga, and plus these guys are big on social media. Serrano don't got too much steam because she's a female boxer, so she's another one who's probably skill for skill the best out of all of them.
Correct. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
right,
Definitely.
now, but she's a female boxer, so
Yeah.
she's never gonna be as big as a male boxer, at least
Yeah.
as of today. So I think it's a question of image, man, and marketability as far as not being big on social media and such. But I'm around like Latinos all day long. It's on mostly Dominicans that come in here. And I tell you what, a lot of Latinos, the people that are Spanish speaking only, they know who he is.
oh,
A lot of Mexicans know who he is. So it might not be the American Puerto Ricans that know who he is, but I think the people in PR and the other Latinos are pretty aware of Subriel Matias. And after Saturday night, if he wins by knockout again and then gets a big fight and wins that fight by knockout, then everybody gonna know who he is because
Correct.
it ain't only about what you look like. Cause Tito Trinidad was you know,
Yeah. He
he he
wasn't. He
he
wasn't.
wasn't like he was
Yeah.
Oscar. He didn't look like Oscar De La Hoya, right? But he was the most popular ever.
but
Yeah.
those guys were promoted a lot better than Matias has been promoted in his career.
Absolutely,
And that I think
absolutely.
is a big problem because I spoke to somebody who actually knows him. And they mentioned the fact that there's always been a question about how he's being managed, right? Why he isn't being managed, like some of these other Puerto Rican guys. And it's true. I think there's something to be said there because you're right. Unless you're Latino, a lot of the mainstream fighters, fans, especially the casuals, don't really know who this dude is. But they will know who he is sooner or later. Now, he isn't the most skillful fighter at 140, but he's definitely the hardest hitter,
Yeah.
and he's the most scariest.
Yeah.
I think Paro is, and I heard him talk this week. He's going to try to come in there and make a statement. He's going to try to take this guy's belt in his backyard, meaning I think he's going to step to Matias, and I think that's going to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if he boxes, we'll see. This guy has the tendency to walk you down and just apply that pressure where in the middle to late rounds, you're done. If he hasn't respected your power yet. And no, I haven't really seen anybody hurt him. Even the fight that he lost, maybe that fight. But other than that, I don't know. I just think that eventually the pressure gets to him and he knocks out Power. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as far as him making a statement, if he wants to make a statement, the only statement he should come to make is this guy could get outboxed. But he shouldn't come, yo, I'm going to dog you out. I'm going to knock you out. That's not the statement you want to try to make with this dude. You want to make the statement like, you can make this, you can make the statement like, yo, I'm tough too, but guess what? I got a couple up on you. You don't got this movement. You don't got this slickness. I'm smarter. And that's the statement he should try to make.
Yeah.
He can fight in spots.
Yeah.
Selectively.
Yeah.
Because some people might think that this is the kind of guy that you're gonna have to fight him if you fight him inside in the ring. He's one of those guys you can't get away from. I don't know that yet because he doesn't really use a jab, and I don't know how good he is at cutting the ring off. I think Benavidez is a guy that you have to fight. You can't just outbox him you have to fight him. Pacquiao was a guy like that. You was gonna have to fight him. Pitbull Cruz is a guy like that. You're gonna have to fight him. You know, those kind of pressure fighters that even if you slick, it's gonna be a couple rounds where slick ain't gonna be enough.
Correct.
But with Matias, I don't know yet because of his lack of fundamentals. So I don't know how true that is with him. I think we have to see that. And Saturday will be another good question. But again, levels. Y'all mentioned the levels, right? Pedigree. Who y'all fought? This guy only fought in Australia. He only fought one time over here, and he fought a guy who's probably not gonna be anything in his career. Montana Love. He's probably gonna be most known for bringing that puppy out with him. You know. So um, it is what it is. But sometimes some people who did the Philippines have? Man, he came up out of nowhere. So sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's that, man. Listen, it's
We
gonna be
win.
interesting, man. I can't wait.
We win. I think without question, we are the real winners on Saturday
Yes.
with all the boxing that's on. I can't wait. Appreciate you guys allowing me to come on the boxing roundtable. And
No doubt, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Real
Maniac,
quick.
I just saw Dream lace that guy up, and it reminded me of the days when I lived in the Bronx, man. Damn. Can't find no
I'm in.
barber like that out here in Florida, man. Shit.
Oh yeah. I'm in Inwood. I'm in Inwood, Washington, Uptown Manhattan. They're right
Yeah, yeah.
across from the Bronx.
He's in man. Hey, in
Oh, yeah,
fact,
man. Regardless, New York City, Dominican barbershop, I'm jealous. Damn, I wish I was back home,
real,
man.
real, real prison talk with Tommy. Matias can actually parry and pick shots off when he wants to. I think that's seldomly. I don't think it's consistent enough, especially when you go up and fight the top guys at a certain weight class who's gonna be able to both punch and box. When you
and,
fight those guys,
and
things
move.
are gonna become more and move. Things are gonna become more complicated, you know. But anyway, that's that, guys, man. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for coming on, Johnny, the Maniac. I hope people enjoy the show. Share, like, subscribe, and we'll be back. Hopefully, we'll do the post fight,
Immediate.
immediate post fight after the Tank Davis and Subriel Matias fight are done, and we're gonna get alive and we're gonna cook, and a lot of people like to get on those shows because those shows are really lit to talk boxing right in the heat of the moment, when everybody's blood is still pumping from the fight. One more, move to Tampa. These barbers suck.
There you go. My man Tommy. I'm telling you, man. You just don't do it like New York City, man. Much respect, man. Much
No
love.
doubt. Anyway, you already know, guys. It's been another episode of the Boxing Roundtable.
Peace.